What if you could create the perfect customized apps for your classroom? Well, today we are going to show you 5 different custom apps that Aaron and I both created with AI without using a single line of code ourselves.
Not only that, but we're also excited to create an app live on this episode with you. You'll see just how easy and fun it can be, and just maybe you'll catch a vision for how you can use vibe coding in your classroom. Hey, welcome to the EdTech Unpacked podcast, where we inspire and equip educators to create meaningful learning experiences, highlighting a thoughtful approach to the integration of technology as we teach and transform the lives of our students. I'm Aaron Long.
And I'm Desmond Suarez, and we are passionate about helping educators, helping you learn how to better use technology to engage your students. So, Aaron, today I have a simple question for you, and I hope it's a simple one, but this is a get-to-know-you question before we get into the AI of it. But what is the background on your phone?
It's a good one. It would always be something wrong for me unless it was family. Now, my family doesn't love me showing their pictures, so you'll get a little quick peek here. All right, there's my kids, my family, and a couple messages I haven't responded to, but it's always family for me. How about you, Desmond?
All right, mine is not a picture of my family, but it is family related because it's Legos. But my son and I like playing Legos together, and I don't know, a year or so ago, he brought to me this white, completely white, solid colored Lego man that he had put together. He'd found pieces from different things, and he got really, I thought it looked really awesome. It had a white helmet, everything was white. And he also then started doing that with other colors. He started going through all his Lego pieces. He didn't get super far. There's a set with all the colors that I have to buy for him. But he put these together himself to get the solid colors, and they looked really cool. So I liking to take pictures. I took that. I put lights on one side and color lights on one side and color lights on the other. And I'll show you here, but maybe it doesn't show up real well on camera maybe. But oh yeah, it does kind of. And I have the same background on my computer. But that was a white Lego guy that I put lights behind and around it. And on his little phone he plays with, he's got the same background.
Dude, that's awesome. I've seen that before. I didn't know the backstory of it, so that's very cool to hear. Your son made it, and then you jazzed it up a bit with some cool photography. So
it's a creative collaboration between my son and I, which is why I love having it.
That's awesome. Good memories there too, man. Some of the best Christmases, which I desperately miss now. We're building Legos with my son, so
Legos are the best.
Jealous you're still in the Lego phase, if I'm being honest.
I love the Lego phase. His birthday's coming up. Not to rub it in, but his birthday's coming up, and it's Lego themed.
Oh, hey, dude, that's what it should be at that age. So,
it's been several years in a row.
I was just talking with my son, not to rat him out, but this last weekend, and he was like, "Yeah, I was building some Legos this last Sunday here," and I was like, "That's the spirit right there." So. He's college age, but still not too old. So maybe this Christmas, who knows? All right, Desmond. Well, hey, we're going to jump in here and just quick question before we get to unpacking the tech. And that would be this. I mentioned it in the intro, but explain for us, what is vibe coding and why does it matter?
Yeah, vibe coding is such a weird way to call it. I don't love the name, but I've been having so much fun doing it. And Aaron and I both have some experience computer programming. We're not experts, right? Especially web programming. I teach a computer programming class, which is why I always tell everyone I'm how do I word it? A expert beginner programmer, because I can teach you, I can do all the beginner stuff, but my knowledge stops because I don't very often do any advanced programming stuff. But I can do all the basics really well. However, I'm not very quick at it. And I also, like, my ability has an end where I really have to struggle to get any further. And so vibe coding is using AI to say, create this app for me, and describing it in plain English what you want. And I mentioned it in the intro, but have you ever wanted to have like custom apps that are designed for your classroom, or an app that you can't find anywhere else? Aaron, I think this is really going to be transformative moving forward, not just for education, but for all of us. Because instead of having an app store for everything, all of us can have custom apps. There'll be apps that I think are consistent a lot of people are using, but also I think that a lot of us will just have like, oh, I need an app to do this. Make it for me.
Man, so this is striking me as you're talking there. So you have the App Store, right, which is part of your ecosystem, whether you're Android or iOS or whatever. But as you'll see today, we're playing around with other platforms, one of those being Canva. So I'm just going to mention that real quick here. And I'm thinking, Desmond, man, I don't feel like it's too big of a stretch or too far down the road that there will be a searchable feature like you search for graphics in Canva. And maybe you can search for and find other teachers' creations. So you're not even having to start the app. You're just scraping for ideas and maybe taking it further. I think, hey, Canva, if you're listening.
Maybe it's already there.
Well, maybe it is. I haven't seen it. But anyway, that's coming, right? It has to be.
It has to.
So we're there. We're right there with the vibe coding. So I don't love the name either. But, vibe, it's a feeling. It's an idea maybe. So like you have the feeling or the idea of what you want to do, and then the platform does the rest. So it kind of makes sense, but I don't love it either.
You don't have to know how to code at all. There's some basic coding stuff that if you know it, you can refine and use a little more. But really, we're not going to do any coding with coding today, but we're going to code with AI today. Not even a little.
That's right. So, hey, man, Desmond, let's do it. All right, you ready?
Let's unpack the tech. So it just so happens that all the apps that we're going to be showing you today were created with Canva AI. Now, Canva AI is awesome. We've also tried ChatGPT and it's been fine. Also done Google Gemini. We've just had less consistent or less, I'd also say, user friendly. I think that ChatGPT might be more powerful, but Canva just seems to work. And especially as a teacher who doesn't want to learn, maybe you do. If you want to learn more about coding and stuff, go for it. You know more. But we wanted to show just a very basic, easy way to do it. So this first one that I'm going to show you is a passage memorizer. And the thing that I got so excited about this one is that my prompt was so simple. It was one sentence. I didn't even tell it how to do it. And my students have been using this. I keep catching them, not in a bad way, but every time I see them, I get excited for using this. But every week I assign a memory verse, a Bible verse for them to memorize. And so I wanted to create a tool, and I think I might work on playing with creating more tools, but to help them memorize passages. So I simply said, something to the effect, I don't have it memorized, but create an app, and to use this in Canva code, create an app that will accept a user input, because I want them to be able to put different stuff in, a user input that help them memorize it. Or I think help have an app that helps someone memorize a user inputted passage. I think that was it. So, and it has the one that it's just in here. You can delete it. It's Shakespeare, Hamlet. And when you click, and you can paste in your own, when you click start memorizing, it even has some instructions down here. It pops up the passage down here. And again, I didn't tell it how to do it or what to do. I just said create an app that does it. And you can do hide words. And you can do from easy, where it just hides a couple, to hard, where it hides 70%. And so I see my students practicing using this. And every time you click hide words, it hides different words.
That's really cool.
Isn't that fun?
I really like this. Yeah.
And I like how elegant it is. It tells you total words, where it's hidden. It can reveal all.
Did you tell it to include the instructions to how to use, or did it just do that?
It did that. You know what?
Cool.
I just realized a feature that I hadn't been using. You click on a word and it reveals it. Man, the AI is so much fun. I created this weeks ago, and I just noticed
really
that.
Good.
The revealed words.
Good.
So if you're struggling to, I guess if you hover over them, it shows it, and then you click on it and it reveals it.
This is me wondering out loud, but I wonder if there's some learning that's happening from Canva where it's seeing other teachers create similar tools. It's amazing to me it would come up with some of those baked in features you just showed on the first go. That's
possible,
impressive.
except that I created this really close to after launch, probably a week or so after they launched it. So I would be surprised if it did do much learning from their input, but it probably did. There probably are, the way AI works is that it looks at stuff that's already out there and is not really creating new things. So I would guess, I've not used them, but I would guess that there are similar apps out there, or at least features that do this. But this is fun because it really I didn't give it much instructions at all.
Desmond, I wish there was a way that we could share this with our listeners out there where they could use this tool. Wouldn't that be cool?
Go to our website.
There you go.
Go to our website. There.
On the website.
I will. So if you just go to edtechunpacked.com, and then we're going to start posting different apps we've created. Maybe we'll add more content to our website other than just our podcast. But you go to Vibed. It's supposed to be, it looks like Vibed, but it's supposed to be Vibe Ed Apps. You can see it down here. It makes more sense. Vibe Ed Apps. Maybe I'll reword it, but in the corner, you'll see it. And so we'll get to others that I have on here, but this is the one that I just showed you, and you can share it with your students, let them play with it, have them subscribe to our podcast while they're at it.
You're such a generous creator, Desmond. I mean, you're making these awesome tools and just giving them away for free. It's incredible.
Yeah, it took all of 30 seconds for me to create this. I'm generous with my time.
Hey, but you nailed it. I mean, the fact that that was right out of the gate. You made a tool like that that's so practical. I mean, how many teachers out there could use this today? So that's incredible.
Yep. Tell us what you got, man. And we're going to post Aaron's on here later. They're not up there now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
They will be. Okay. Let me jump in here and share mine. All right, so I'm going to share a little bit of backstory before we get to my screen share. So real time yesterday, talking with my daughter. Actually, this was probably Saturday night, the first part of the conversation. And so we're recording this on a Monday. So this was 2 nights ago. And my daughter was talking about, she's in nursing school, doing a great job, but struggling a little bit with memorizing the drugs or medications. Okay, they call them drugs. Hopefully that's not a taboo word here that's going to cause us problems, but that's what they go by in her medical world. So the drugs or medications are challenging to learn the names and all the different side effects, etc. So what class they're in. So I was like, hey, Adeline, send me just a picture of your notes. And I just want to see what I can do with it. I didn't even tell her what I was going to try to do. I was like, let me just try to do something. And I had this idea. I was like, wonder if I can make an app. So here you go. You're seeing the notes she sent me. And they're just pictures. So these are JPEGs. So this is the thing about it. All right. I knew that I had to get the text out of the JPEG. So you're looking at the notes inside of Adobe right now. So I did start, in all fairness, with ChatGPT, and I uploaded them there. I created a project, so it took me about 5 minutes to upload the notes, create a project, and I attempted to get ChatGPT to OCR them for me, meaning to pull out the text from the pictures. I literally got 1 out of 23 or 24 pages done. How many pages? It's 24 pages. So I got 1 out of 24 done after numerous fails. It decided to split the page in half and do half at a time. It got done with 1 page eventually. But I was like, this is not going to work. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to a tool I know. Dropped all these into Adobe, and it was done. I know what you're going to say.
Did you not watch episode 6 where we demoed this whole thing in Google Docs? Go back and watch episode 6. Everyone, including Aaron.
Click above. All right, we're going to put the link above. Yes. So click above. So I knew you were going to say this. All right, I already knew it, and that's great. We have an episode for it. But I'm, when it comes to this kind of thing, I'm an Adobe fan. It's very fast and efficient. So I OCR'd it with Adobe and then just saved it as a PDF. Okay, so then it's done. You got the text. It's ready to go. So from there, I went to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to talk you through this process, and then we'll get to Canva. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, well, this needs to be usable data, right? This is where ChatGPT is an all-star. Gemini do a great job, no doubt. So basically, I uploaded the document, 24-page PDF that's been OCR'd, into ChatGPT, and I just gave it a basic instruction of organize the drug and medication data into a table, and so create columns for. I kind of told it what to put in there, so it did, and I kind of messed it up because I don't know, I don't know all the medical terms. So you'll see that in a minute. And it did it in seconds. I mean, super fast. Made a table. I asked it to create a CSV file for download. It did that in seconds. So I downloaded this. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, those that don't know what CSV is it stands for comma separated values.
Thank you.
And it literally is just every value is separated by a comma, but it opens up in a spreadsheet, like Excel, looking like a spreadsheet, basic spreadsheet.
So, by the way, I just have to mention this on this episode because this is not the first time this has happened. Desmond knows I have some lights in here that just go crazy sometimes. So you'll see me grab my phone and make an adjustment, and so I just have one of my lights go crazy. It's an overhead light that just decides to brighten up all of a sudden. So thank you for that explanation, Desmond. So I took the CSV file, and then I'm like, okay, I've got the data, and start to finish, that was probably 5 minutes. I mean, this sounds hard. It's not. As long as you have a way to get the data out of the pictures through an OCR mechanism, Google or Adobe, super quick and easy.
And then you just copy and pasted those in, or you uploaded them in a document?
I just, in terms of the CSV file.
Oh, no, you OCR'd it. You asked ChatGPT to put it in a CSV.
Yes.
But you just copy and pasted it into ChatGPT?
I didn't have to copy in terms of the document. I uploaded it, and then
after it was OCR'd. Got you.
That's correct. So really fast. I had to do so very little for it. So now we're going to fast forward. I'm going to change my my screen share here. We're going to jump to sort of the end of this process where I was actually creating the actual app itself. All right. So we're going to go over to. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll just show you this real fast. So take a look at what it created. Okay, so here's the
that's what ChatGPT created, right?
Yep. So ChatGPT created this. So again, it's just pulling all the information out of the graphics, which is so amazing to think about. And I told it to create these column headers. I don't love them. So anyone that's medical out there would be like, notes/nursing implications. What is that? Well, that was me. Okay, that was my bad as I'm learning. So I have the drug name, classification, etc. So I created these headers, and then it put everything in there. Okay. Now, caveat, I have not gone back to quality control check the data, and I plan to do that because this has turned out so well. I'm like, wow, this is actually usable. I better double check the data. So I'm going to do that. I'll run this through and just do some quality control. But for now, I'm running with it. It works really good. So here's the next piece of the puzzle. We're now going to go over to the actual app that was created. So this is version 1. Okay, I have a few versions I'm going to show you. This was maybe. In fact, let's refresh this. I want you to see this from the beginning. Okay, because it is important to know how this works. So basically, when this app loads, it's asking for a file. Okay, and this is something I actually really like about it. Is that I can go back and edit the file, meaning I can add more content and use the same app with the new fresh content. So really, it could be any content. So I'm going to click and select the CSV file, again, the one I just showed you that ChatGPT created, and it says successfully loaded 49 drugs from the CSV file. I have two options. I can go to study mode or quiz mode. So I'm going to go to study mode. And I can see I'm on 1 out of 49. I can see the name. I think this is the generic, and this is the brand, is what you're seeing here.
And this is not medical advice. This is education advice, not medical advice.
Right. That's right. And it might all be wrong. So, there's another caveat. But, hey, this is what we got. So I have classification, and it tells me what type of drug it is. Content area, psychiatry, notes, nursing, monitor, sedation, confusion, indications, which I don't even know what an indication is, but it's there. It's there for you. Side effects, contraindications. Okay, so that sounds bad. Dependence risk, that's a bad thing. All right, so I can quickly go through the information pulled out of the notes. I can switch over to quiz mode, or I can just run through all of them and kind of do a little bit of a review on these. The name, all the different factoids about them. I could run through all of them. At some point, I say, let's switch to quiz mode. So now what it does, it pulls me in, and I can click through these again, but now I'm actually multiple choicing this, all right? And so I'm just going to take a guess here. Let's say that one's classified as anti-inflammatory.
You failed.
Well, let's be soft here, okay? But what I like about this is it's coded to where after I've finished a tab, it turns it green. You see that?
Uh-huh.
And so I can go through
track
these
your progress.
That's right. And notice something here. They're different formats. So I'm going to go over to Notes Nursing. Notice these are check boxes now. I can select more than one. That was one of the iterations. I said, you know what? Let's change the format for some of these tabs so they're not all formatted just as multiple choice, but as a multi-select option. And so these other ones are formatted as multi-select just to make it a little more challenging. At any point, so I could, take a guess here, submit answer, totally wrong. I could switch back to study mode if I'm not doing well, but you can see, I've completed 2 tabs on this particular drug or medication. So super functional. This was iteration 1. This probably was about half an hour, I'd say, into my process of just playing around with it.
That's an advanced app. Show us the latest
all right,
iteration.
So this one there's actually a few glitches in it, but this is where I'm at now. So I've added some things. When I get one correct, it'll add it to this category. If I missed it here, it adds it to this one. And these are stacks. So if I have 2 or 3 that I've missed at some point, I can click on that stack and it will reload just the ones I've missed so I can study and quiz myself just on the missed ones. So that was a fun little iteration. I've added all of let me reload this so you can see from the beginning, because I added another neat functionality here where once you load the CSV file, okay, we're going to load it live. We're going to go to study mode. You can select what you want to practice. So you don't have to do all 6 areas. I can say, well, I don't need to practice content area or notes. Maybe I just want to look at not even classification. Let's just focus on those 3. And we're going to practice just with those 3 different bits of information, okay? So it allows me to decide on the fly how I want to practice, how I want to learn, if I want to be in quiz mode or if I want to be in learning mode. And when I'm in quiz mode, it's tracking my progress so then I can drill back into the ones I missed later. So this is where I'm at. I told Desmond before he came on, this is iteration 26.
That's a lot of iterations.
So it's quite a few.
And I want to, it'll allow you, when he says iteration, you can keep chatting with it. Imagine that you're just chatting with a computer programmer who's making you an app, and it will program faster than any human could program, and it'll keep making adjustments. As you do these iterations, I have found that, and this is where I think I ran into problems with some of the other platforms a little more, is that it can kind of fall apart sometimes. And you can go back to previous versions. And so there's been times where I've asked an iteration, it kind of breaks it. And I go back to the previous version and I ask it again or ask a different question. And so, but sometimes that's an advanced app. And we'll share that one along with the others on that webpage. But that's an advanced app. They don't have to be that advanced for a lot of your tools. That's a full study app.
I'll just mention the one thing I think I'm going to change about it. Well, there's a couple things, but the one main thing to make it more usable for all of you out there watching is I'm going to see if I can get it to load those categories that I could select between, classification, etc., based on the names of the column headers.
Oh, that's good. So they can use it with whatever content they want.
Yeah, you could do terms and places for geography or whatever, and it would just load those different tabs based on whatever you're feeding it.
That's fun. That's fun. Well, we hope you learn how to make your own apps through this process, or inspired to. But even so, you can use the ones that we have created for you. So the next one I'm going to show is based on an app that I've actually used for years. And a great app, diffchecker.com, an app that I've used for a long time because, as I told you earlier, I have my students memorize a memory verse every week, and then I grade that. And, I'm so glad that I have computers, because grading it on paper, I don't know that I could. Like, I would really struggle and fall apart, and it would be really challenging for me to be able to do that. And so instead, my students type it in on Schoology, on Learning Management System, on a quiz. And then I go and I use I use a text comparison app. And so there was a few features that I always kind of wished thought would make my workflow quicker. And so I decided, well, let me just see if I can make it quicker. And this is a couple iterations. One of the iterations is I asked it to describe how it works, and it had one detail in there that I didn't think it was necessary, so I actually asked it to just remove that detail. And so this is probably maybe 5 or 6 iterations in. The first app I showed was just one. Maybe I had it change one thing. I think there was one simple change I think I made. I can't even remember what. But I'm just going to actually take the to be or not to be passage. So I would paste in the original passage there, and then I put the student's version in on this side, the second text. And so I'm just going to make some changes. I'm going to remove some words. I'm going to change some stuff. And then it tells us, it gives a summary. This isn't super useful because I wouldn't count, like, they left out an O. I'm not worried about the spelling as much as if I can, because I want them to memorize the passage, or this outrageous. And I said, like, I told it to do, if it's similar, just slightly different, to highlight it yellow. If it is different, do red. Some of the differences that I told it were to ignore punctuation, because I don't grade on punctuation, and through the iteration, one of the things that it liked to do, and I actually created the same app through, I think, ChatGPT and maybe Gemini. I created through several ones, but this was my favorite one. But they all would, if they got to like one wrong word, like this not, it would just count the rest of the passage wrong. So I told it to like start over counting if they got one wrong. I thought that was an interesting mistake that felt very much like a mistake a computer would make more than what a human would make. So now I can just go in and I can count how many they got right or wrong. So I personally wouldn't count that. And so I would count and or, because that's different meaning. And they left out the word troubles. So this would be -2. And so the way I'd grade it is I take the total words possible, and I put how many they got right out of how many possible. And that's how I grade that. And so I've already been using it, and it has sped up. It's also visually cleaner and quicker to look at than the other app I was using. And so it's really kind of sped up my grading process already.
So how are you sharing these with, this one obviously is for you, but how are you sharing the student apps with the students, out of curiosity?
So there's a couple of ways. I was taking the shareable link, which we'll get to when we create an app, straight in Canva, and we'll demonstrate this earlier, so I won't show, but you can take your apps and you can publish them to a website. You can publish them to a like a presentation, or really any Canva product. I think maybe not a printable poster or a t-shirt, but you can share and then you can share that link with your students. On ChatGPT, you can also create a link to a specific app. And so I've used that, and I've created study apps. So another way, and I'm not going to demonstrate this, but I've taken PDFs of like my chapters, my textbooks, or other content, and asked it to make a quiz game, and then shared that with my students. And that's a quick way to get that. Now, I am always worried about quality, so I remind my students that. I tell them, let me know if there's any mistakes. No mistakes have been found yet, but they probably will. It seems like a low mistake rate, probably lower than if I was to hand make it.
Dude, that's a great one. Really, so far you're 2 for 2. I'll say that. Right.
You're 1 for 1, but let's hear 2 for 2 for you.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I can go 2 for 2. All right, so the next app I'm going to share, this was a today thing. And I told Desmond when we were jumping on here, I didn't actually plan these around this episode. They just kind of came to be based on real world scenarios. So I'm like, man, in 2 days, I've made 2 real world applications that I think have use.
Yeah, because on Friday we were like the day before that I proposed the idea of doing our episode on this, and then you took and ran with it.
I was also at that time like, hey, you can take the lead on this, Desmond. I'll just like join in, right? And then here we are a couple days later. I have stuff to share, and I'm only highlighting that because of how easy it is. This didn't take incredible thought. It was just like, hey, here's an idea. Let's see if we can do that. So quick backstory on this one. We love to do a big spelling bee event here in Texas. Our Texas conference has a conference level spelling bee we host here at Burton Academy. And so for that, we're generating a lot of hype right now this time of year for spelling bees. Okay. And I was talking with a parent this morning who was like, a first grader, saying their first grader's a little bit of a struggling speller, reader. And she said, I thought it'd be really neat if I could just get the words in a format that are big where he could trace them to learn the letters in the sequence so that he could learn to spell. And I was like, hey, let's try this out right now. So literally, she was with me. I jumped on Canva. I was like, let's see if we can do this. So what you're looking at here is version 1. Okay. Very basic prompt. You can see create a spelling practice app. So I thought for this one, Desmond, I would show the interface. So you can kind of see these iterations and how clean and simple this is. So all I said was create a spelling practice app that lets the student trace the word with their finger and show their tracing over the word. And so here's what it came up with. I didn't load any words, so it just gave me some sample words here. And it works on a laptop. It works on a phone. I've tried this on my phone. It works great.
So they can trace it all like on the touch screen?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool, man.
I know. I didn't tell you about what exactly this one did.
No.
And I was like, for one simple prompt, and it already worked, and all I need to do from there, and I haven't really played with the database piece, but I just need to upload the set of words I wanted to use. And this is totally usable, okay? Now, the one thing I've seen is like the scoring mechanism. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'll just switch words and do that again. It's doing its best. I need to dial in the scoring. Okay. So I didn't fully finish the I. Let's say I trace somewhere else, it's not going to give me a full credit, but if I come back and finish the I, it likes it better. The R. So there is some level of accuracy to that scoring bar. It's not perfect is what I've seen. So there we go. I didn't do the D perfectly.
I don't even know how to even tell it to make that perfect. Like that. Exactly. That's really creative. The way they did it.
So the iterations I've been playing with don't address the bar. In fact, it's probably not as good as this first iteration, but I'll show you here some of the versions. So I can go through and just click on some subsequent versions after I gave it additional prompts to fix things. And I'm 10, 12, 13 in. Let me just jump to... I started playing with, this was for my wife. Okay. She's a first grade teacher. And she was like, wonder if it could do tracing to help the students not just trace over it, but know, the starting arrows. I forget, there's a word for this, but like the actual sequence of how the letters are formed or formation. There you go. And so it did an okay job here of showing me, okay, start there, go here. A, go up for 1, 2, I go down, and 3, I go across. And then here I go across and down. Okay. So it does a pretty good job of showing that. I don't like the bar here was broken. It shows an accuracy of 100%. Okay. But it didn't go over like
I
before.
might just remove that bar or very simplify it.
Right. So then we're going to jump down a ways. I have some more iterations. I'm not going to say this is necessarily better, but I was like, hey, wonder if I could build this into be a little more robust of an app. So this is where I go down rabbit holes. You still have the word trace mode, but I'm like, let's try a spell mode.
I want to say this is a little addictive. Like you create a version, you're like, that's really good, but what could be better?
What if I could do this?
And you keep on like wanting to play with it, but it is also being okay with the first version.
That's true. Because honestly, back to that first version, it was good. Version was totally usable.
It did a good job.
So now I've played with, and this is not totally accurate. I need to figure out how to better communicate this. I wanted it to show phonetic spelling, like the Scripps Word Club app does. I wanted it to be able to say the word. So it does have
audio. Yeah,
it does. This blew me away. I was like, surely it's not going to pronounce words. Use in a sentence. So the use in a sentence didn't work as well on this iteration, but if I go back one, I'll show you that because I was actually pretty impressed with it. If I say use in a sentence.
The orange cat climbs the tall tree.
Pretty good,
Wow.
huh?
It's not the best artificial voice, but it's impressive it can do it at all.
Exactly. So it's still got the tracings. You can hide the arrows if you want. So if you don't want those, there's hints, which I didn't dive into fixing what the hint is. Right now, it just highlights the whole word, which I'm like, that's not really a hint. But some really good features.
You could tell it to show the motion of the trace, like to actually visualize the trace. I don't even know how to say that, but
yeah. But back to the core feature, back to version 1, to Desmond's point. It totally nailed it on my first try of saying, all right, let's just create an app that can load spelling words and let kids learn those words through tracing them. So there you go.
That's fun. And as you were showing that, I was like, this is so visual. So I apologize to our audio only listeners. This is a very visual episode. So maybe hop on to YouTube. And this next one, I will describe it. But also, this is something I feel like you need to see. So I can't be the only one that has, or we cannot be the only school that has struggled with this. But right now, where our school is in this big, our teachers and our principal, we're working through like how much homework is too much homework. Is homework even a good idea? I know there's schools that don't have any homework, and there's other schools that just load the students up with tons of homework. I am sure the answer is somewhere in the middle. But I've had so many parent-teacher conferences, and I'm very empathetic to the parents and the students of having too much homework. I am on the side of there being only homework that is worthwhile, and not having homework for the sake of homework. And if you have homework, it better be valuable, because I think that I want my students to be good people, not just homework machines. I want them to enjoy time with their family before they leave the house. I want them to be able to have fun with their friends, do extracurricular things. But there is probably some time where you need to do homework. And so I'll get these stories at parent-teacher conferences, and they'll be like, my child is spending 4 hours doing homework a night, and they're going to bed super late. And I hear that, and I'm not disagreeing with them. But I always have the follow-up question I'd never feel like I get a satisfactory answer from, of like, what are they doing, right? Like, what subjects are they working on? What assignments? How often is this? What time do they start their homework? Like, I just have tons of questions to follow up.
You've got a lot of teachers out there right now saying, amen. I can hear that resonating.
I care, but I feel like I can't solve the problem.
We're there with you.
Yeah.
We're there with you, okay.
I can't solve the problem until I have more data, right? Like, I need more data, especially at a school where you have multiple teachers. Like, is it me? Is it them? Is it valuable homework? Or is the student not doing it in class? What is it? And so I created, and now it's a self-reporting tool, and I don't know that I'd want to do it any other way, but I created a homework tracker, and this is one, this is not as many iterations as Aaron's medication app, but it is probably like 12 or 15 iterations in, and I've given this to my students, and I think some of them are starting to use it. I don't have any data back yet, and this is several versions in, like I said. So you just put your name up here. And it says, welcome back, Desmond, and the name will be important in a minute. Then you put your classes, math and history, and you can just keep adding classes, and you can also edit. So history should be uppercase. You can also delete because math isn't as important. I'm kidding. Just digging on Aaron. I'll put math back. And then you can start your time to study. So this would be running. Now, my idea with this is not just about data. Data is like half of the goal. The other half of the goal is when they're saying this, I also, and this is not true for all the students, but a lot of them, and it's probably guilty for us too, are not monotasking. They think they're the great multitasker and that they can watch football or TikTok or YouTube or EdTech Unpacked or text their friends
You're preaching tonight, Desmond. This is everyone saying amen tonight to everything you're saying.
Yeah, they think they can do all these things at the same time, but the research I've read on it, and get in the comments and argue, but don't just argue, send me research, but that multitasking is not a thing. Like, we don't multitask. We task switch. And some people are better at task switching than others, but we are switching between tasks. And so when you are task switching, you're less efficient at the tasks you're doing. And so they think they can do it, but this is also to encourage mono focus. One of the students asked me, well, and actually one of the iterations of the app happened to do this, but they said, could you have it where I'm working on more than one class at a time, right? So I could have 2 timers at the same time. Because right now, if I click start here, it stops the other one, it pauses it, and it starts a new one. And that's intentional because no, you need to work on one at a time. But also I have a break. I didn't allow them to change the time. I could have done that, but I had a fixed 5-minute break. And it will alarm at the end. They can stop it. They can reset it. It'll get a little buzzer at the end. And they can stop that. Now down here, we get data. You also get a summary, total time spent.
Really good.
Isn't that fun? I remember teaching typing, and I had a student who complained about typing all semester long. And I hope he hears this episode because he knows who he is. All semester long. And then, and he would say, I can't get fast enough. I can't get fast enough. I'm like, how much time are you spending? I'm spending all this time. Now, what he may not have realized is I could go and see how long he was on the platform. And he was like 10 minutes. All right. Like the whole semester, like he was telling me he's spending all this time practicing. What he was doing is opening up, getting frustrated and closing it. And so I want to know the data. So then you can export to a spreadsheet. Now, yes, they can edit this. It's self-reporting still. They can open this, and my computer is going to take a beat to open it. And I did notice when I was doing this in Canva, it's not doing it yet. When I was editing this in Canva, it would, in the editor, this feature never worked. And so I actually didn't think it was working. And so I downloaded it, or I copied it and opened it straight on my computer, and it worked beautifully. And so now we have all the data from that, and they can email it to us. Teachers, they can also share it with their parents, and you can see, the time. And yes, it's 10 o'clock. We're recording this late. I'm ready to go to bed.
You've been exposed.
I've been exposed. And that's the point. So, and that is also the thing is like they're starting their homework. And you see they started it just before 10. So when they tell me that they were up till 10 working on their homework, well, yes, you started it at 10. But this also, is not just reporting whether they were not doing what they're supposed to do, but also hopefully if we get the students to use this more consistently, we can see trends. And maybe a teacher, because I think a lot of teachers think they're assigning less homework than we are. And so it would allow us teachers to get insight and to see, oh, the students are spending way more time on this than I thought they were.
Here's a thought. I wonder if you could make another app that was just a CSV uploader where you could upload, say, a month worth of files for a student. Like a student could do it themselves, and it would just compile the data. It would average out their nightly time spent. I bet you could. We
got to work on iteration. I think that's a good idea. We got to process this data.
Yeah. Dude, this is awesome, man. You're absolutely 3 for 3. I have no question about that. Is this one on there too? It is, isn't it?
Yes. So this is on there. We're running long, so let's make this next thing quick, Aaron. Aaron's going to do like magic, make an app in front of your eyes.
All right. So we've seen 5 awesome apps. We've crushed everyone. Now you're going to see us jumping into Canva. I've copied from another window a prompt that Desmond and I kind of agreed on. We mashed it up. He's super design conscious, and so we took my math terminology and his design terminology. And by the way, it's right here at the top of Canva. If you haven't seen it, Canva AI, code for me. That's
now,
it. And then,
let me talk about the design. Paste in your thing.
okay.
And I was thinking this at the end of the prompt. I gave instructions, and I'll read them out loud. And I said the theme is a garden to emphasize that all of us are growing together. With tans and greens as colors. And the reason I did that is, especially for elementary teachers, I see this a lot, is that you guys love creating beautiful themes in your classrooms. And so you walk in as this whole theme, and yet your digital assets never match that. And so wouldn't it be cool that the apps that you're using in your classroom match the theme of your whole year? And so, it's if you're going to customize it, make it match your theme and style along the way.
So we've talked about the theme. Now let's quickly talk about what it is we're asking it to code, since we haven't. So the idea here is, let's ask Canva to create a basic manipulative that's a line in a coordinate plane that you can manipulate the line and it will adapt. Dude, it actually nailed your color scheme. The greens and tans, look at that. And so the goal is that you can manipulate this, and it will it'll live change the information at the bottom of the screen. Now I can't scroll here, and this is one issue I've had on a few of the apps is allow me to scroll down if needed. So this is a good example though of, like, sometimes things aren't perfect. Which there it goes. So maybe I just was putting my cursor in the wrong place. Now it's going to think it has to fix something that wasn't broken.
Well, with that, also, I've had pretty good luck with them being mobile optimized. But there was one I created earlier on, and I think it was with Gemini, and it didn't work on the phone very well. And so I asked it to optimize it for mobile, and it did.
So I'm going to say I actually did this same exact type. I didn't use all-in-one prompt, but I did this same type of a manipulative. It is glitching a little bit. That little endpoint is not exactly on the line, but you can see the slope-intercept form of the line up above, live changing as I drag the line around. Okay, that was the basic objective here of this particular interactive.
What's the data at the bottom say? Is that data at the bottom too?
So it's not actually. Well, I can't
Is it
scroll
not
down
live?
now.
Oh, okay.
Let me go back to version 1. And I'm not sure what happened there. Like, this is just a really interesting glitch. But here's what's neat. Okay, we're gonna live fix it. I know we need to keep this short. I'm gonna tell it to do two things. Fix the endpoints of the line segment so that they are attached. There you go. Also, show the numbers at the bottom of the screen dynamically changing as I move the line.
Now, usually I've had better luck doing one iteration at a time, one small iteration at a time.
Agree. Oh, they already were. You see that? They were. I just couldn't scroll down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at this. How to tend your math garden.
Oh, what does it say? I can't read it from here.
This is great.
Read it.
Drag the brown points around the graph to see how the line equation changes. The points will snap to grid intersections to help you plant precise mathematical seeds.
Oh, I love the theming. Oh, the theming is rich. We got to know about all your themes. Share them in the comments.
So good.
Oh, that's
so
good.
It's already a winner. Now, obviously, we could tune this up, and I promise you these are tunable, okay? But for the sake of time, we are going long. I'm going to say use this design. I just want you to see how this works. You can plug it into a website or a presentation. So let's say you're going to actually assign something to the students out of Canva. You can embed this activity in the assigned activity from Canva, drop it into Google Classroom because Canva syncs with Google Classroom. And so right there, you're distributing an interactive activity you built on the fly in an assignment to the kids. So super flexible. Most everything I think we're publishing right now is published as a website, and that's where you get these web app experiences. It has its own URL, but it's basically an app on a standalone website. So that's the easiest, quickest way to share it is just by making a website. But there you go, Desmond. Our idea was mashed up to form a pretty cool activity.
I love it. I love it. This is exciting. Aaron and I are addicted to this. So expect on that page there to be a lot more apps listed. And we would also if you share a solid app with us, we'll vet them. But if you share a solid app with us, we'd like to share more. So leave them in the comments, email them to us, and we will credit you and along with the service that you created it on.
Well, hey, if you like this content, we've actually forgotten to remind everybody today, Desmond, subscribe. Hey, we want to see you being tuned in when we're publishing updates, new episodes, and shorts. We publish a lot of shorts these days, and those are really targeted at quick learning, quick consumption. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you also get the notifications set up so that you can learn and know anytime we publish new content. We've covered a lot today, Desmond. The whole vibe coding thing. I hope we get it now. I hope we see it. I hope we see the potential. But it's sure been fun running through and sharing a little bit about our vibe coding with you guys today.
That's for sure. And please send your EdTech problems to be solved. And along with apps that you create, and we want to help you, and we want to enjoy what you create for us as well. Along with other feedback through our website at edtechunpacked.com, where you can leave a voicemail, an audio recording, or you can also email us. You'll find our email there. Is it info@edtechunpacked.com. And along with, we are on the social medias, Blue Sky. I post a lot on Blue Sky. Aaron posts more on x.com. And Instagram is his favorite platform to post, and along with Facebook. And most importantly, subscribe to us on YouTube and keep checking back to our app page that we will also link below.
Well, we've covered a lot, Desmond. Hey, if you tuned in today and this feels a little bit overwhelming, I hope at the end there you caught just a vision of how quickly you can get your hands on this and start to play around. Listen, don't be intimidated by all the cool stuff other teachers are making or things we're showing you. Be inspired, okay? That's what we hope you take away from this episode today, and really every episode. God made you to be the awesome teacher that you are. Not intimidated by the tools out there that are made for your benefit and your students, more importantly. Be inspired, be uplifted by the community that you're part of. And we hope to be just a small bit of sparking that excitement and that interest in you today. Hey, don't ever forget, there's no substitute for great teaching. It's not just about the tools and technology you use, but how you foster meaningful relationships with your students to transform their lives. We'll see you next time.